Yo, video is whatever happened to Eve. Me personally, I wonder what happened to a lot of female artists from back then that just vanished. We never really heard from them again. They used to be all in the media, and then next thing you know, they vanished. But the only way to find out what happened to Eve is by getting straight into this video.
Eve is a female rapper that often goes understated, despite having some wonderful hits to her name and reaching
Definitely.
great commercial heights in all facets of media. She was a notable figure in hip hop and pop in the thousands, delivering her rhymes with a rough fierceness that often contained pop sensibilities. When she was 18, she began stripping to provide for herself. She only stripped for 2 months. During her short amount
Yo,
of time as a
yo, is it me or she remind y'all of Tiana Taylor?
stripper, she found out more about herself and what she wanted to achieve. Eve was a Philly girl and always wanted to rap since she was younger, but at that point in time, she hadn't prioritized it. One night in the strip club, she had an encounter with rapper Maze, who listened to her rap and encouraged her to quit stripping and pursue a music career. In the beginning, she was signed to Dr. Dre's label, but nothing came of it and she got dropped, likely due to Dre's priority over Eminem during that time. Eve was absolutely devastated, but things would pick back up for her. She eventually got signed to Rough Rider Records, which also served as a hip hop collective, with DMX being the leader of the group.
Rest in peace, DMX.
Eve became
man.
the first lady and only girl in the group, sometimes being called the pit bull in a skirt. She had a natural edge. Eve's introduction as an artist came through a series of low-key features. In 1999, she began recording her debut album. Although Eve was no prude when it came to flaunting how good she looked, she did not take the hypersexual and sexually aggressive lane that her predecessors Lil' Kim and Foxy Brown did.
Yeah, she took it different
She
route.
instead centered her image around struggles, empowerment, and cool party girl anthems. Her first
I
single,
mean,
What You Want, was
with her not taking the little Camel Foxy Brown route, not everybody gonna be the same. You know what I'm saying? That's like you may have a favorite artist and you don't want to listen to other artists because you feel like, oh well, they don't sound like such and such. Not everybody's supposed to sound the same. That's how shit gets boring quick.
unleashed in 1999. It
All
peaked
look
just
the
within
same.
the top 30 on the Hot 100. It's a Latin-tinged rap song and features Eve's braggadocious personality. Her debut album, Let There Be Eve, Rough Riders' First Lady, would sell over 200,000 copies within its first week, becoming the third album by a female hip-hop artist to reach the #1 position on the Hot 200. The album is loaded with Audie's jams, but the song that is the album's crowning jewel and Eve's touchstone is not a party song at all. It's a somber and angry acoustic rap number about domestic violence. The song is titled Love is Blind, and it is genuinely one of the greatest songs in hip hop to cover the topic of domestic violence, and one of the greatest songs released by a woman in hip hop, period. It tells a story of a friend of Eve's who is being abused and is aimed at the abuser. It's very detailed but delivered in a very digestible and tasteful manner. Eve is full of fury and sadness on the track. The song was written by her based on a real friend of hers. It is certainly a staple for Eve. Following her debut album, Eve got a bit slicker, more fine-tuned, and polished. Her lead-off single to her second album, Who's That Girl, is a timeless piece of Latin-tinged pop rap, with one of the stickiest hooks of its time period. But it was the slick cool girl Gwen Stefani collaboration, Let Me Blow Your Mind, that sent Eve blazing to the top of the charts, peaking at #2, and made
Damn,
Eve and
okay.
Gwen the very first acts to win the Best Rap Song Collaboration Grammy Award, which was new at the time. Her second album, Scorpion, was well received and earned her another platinum album. By the time Eve's third album, Evolution, came around, Eve had set her sights on something bigger than music. The album produced the hit Gangsta Lovin', a collaboration with Alicia Keys, becoming Eve's consecutive #2 hit, and the album itself sold over 500,000 copies. But Eve began to diversify her brand, taking on acting roles, prominently
Yeah.
appearing in the Barbershop movie, which became a box office hit, and following the success
could you
she
not
was
remember
experiencing in music, she was approached by the UPN network, where they pitched her an opportunity for a show, as they were trying to appeal to a younger demographic. The show would simply be titled Eve, and follows a young fashion designer who's balancing work and her love life. The show began airing in 2003, and in the midst of her show run, she
I
appeared in
remember that
other
show. I remember
movies.
that show what's that show with the little boy Bobby? All of Us, 101, all that.
She also announced the launch of her clothing line Fetish, which specialized in women's clothing. In 2005, her second collaboration with Gwen Stefani, Rich Girl, landed in the top 10. They were kind of like the prototype of a female pop singer and female rapper collaborating, a dynamic duo, if you will. Eve was a true it girl and multimedia personality. Although the Eve sitcom experienced popularity amongst young people of color, the viewership eventually faltered, and the show wrapped in 2006 after 3 seasons.
No, hold on, let me go back, hold on. Right here, she played in what's that movie? How to Be a Player.
3 seasons. The show was also caught in a two companies merging situation, and a majority of the UPN shows got cancelled around this time after merging with the CW. Unpleasant feelings were expressed by the media and the public during this time, due to there being a noticeable decline of black sitcoms on TV. Following her show's conclusion, Eve appeared on Kelly Rowland's Like This, which became a top 40 hit and even bigger hit on the R&B charts. Hard times came for Eve though. She parted ways with her label, her fashion line was cancelled, and so was her show. In 2018, she spoke about how she turned to substance abuse during this time period in the 2000s. I call it my dark period. I was out of a toxic relationship, I didn't have the TV show, I didn't have a record deal. I was just kinda like, what is happening with my life? So I started drinking a lot, she recalled.
Yeah.
I didn't want to deal with my emotions. I didn't have anybody to really talk to. It wasn't until she crashed her Maserati and was arrested on drunk driving charges in 2007 that she changed her life. She had to wear an alcohol detecting ankle bracelet for 45 days. Thankfully I did and was able to get healthy, she said.
Okay.
I prayed myself through it. I finally started figuring out things that I needed to do to make myself healthy. Eve persevered, continuing to appear to make guest appearances in movies and shows. In 2010, she was featured on the My Chick Bad remix, a song by Ludacris alongside other female rappers such as Nicki Minaj. Eve had began working on her 4th album in 2007, with songs like Tambourine. However, due to label politics, the album would be stalled. Eve expressed her frustration with Interscope Records numerous times. She eventually parted ways with Interscope, and released her 4th album titled Lip Lock independently in 2013. She also became a regular in the Barbershop movie franchise, with the latest movie being released in 2016, and all the movies being a box office success. Although Eve has not released an album since then, she has still been very active, going on tour with Gwen Stefani in 2016, appearing on a very long list of shows throughout the years, Empire, Jane the Virgin, and The Voice, just to name a few. She also became a host on the daytime show, The Talk, and left in 2020 after 3 years. She appeared in Queens alongside Brandy and Tori Naughton in 2021. And as far as music, she made an appearance on the deluxe edition of Doja Cat's very popular Planet Her album.
Yo, what y'all think about Doja Cat with the weird shit? Let me know how y'all feel about how Doja Cat went from that image right there to cutting her hair bald and shaving her eyebrows and all that.
Song titled Tonight, which calls upon Eve's signature 2000s style. So as you guys can tell, Eve is a very busy and determined woman. As far as her personal life, she recently became a mother, and she is married to a very successful entrepreneur.
That's him?
This woman's career has continued to be successful, multifaceted, and she still remains an appealing figure. She's a woman that came up in hip-hop, which is a challenge within itself, and then she continued to spread herself throughout other avenues. Even if music doesn't appear to be her main focus anymore, she's done well for herself.
I definitely feel like she's done well for herself. I hope she continue going. I hope she continue to get opportunities to make money for her. Now she has the kids, so her and her kid, provide for her family. Let me know what y'all feel about that. Let me know your favorite Eve song, to be honest. With that being said, I appreciate y'all for all the love and support. Love is love, and I'm gonna catch y'all in the next video.